And at number 10, Jennifer Hudson. Jennifer Hudson went through the traumatic experience of losing her mother, brother, and nephew on the same night of October 24th of 2008. Unfortunately, her family was targeted and killed by an assailant. After the incident, she went into hiding to protect herself from the world. She wasn't able to open up about her time away until nearly 2 years after. When she was featured on VH1's Behind the Music, she spoke about that time, saying, quote, "For almost 2 weeks straight, I was inside one room with just family and friends, coming in and out because of course the press was everywhere." She says at the time she relied heavily on her family and faith, and she did not want to speak to anyone. During this time, she was offered a role in a major movie, but decided to turn it down so she could focus on getting better. When she was finally ready to get back into the spotlight, she performed the Star-Spangled Banner to open the 2009 Super Bowl.
Starting off this countdown, we have Jerry Seinfeld. Have you seen that awkward encounter with Jerry Seinfeld and Kesha? My stomach literally hurts just watching it. Anyways, what happened was during a red carpet event, Kesha asked for a hug and he completely rejected her in the most awkward and cringy way. Apparently he has a strict no hugging rule, which I mean, that's fair. Okay, I bet he would get swarmed with fans walking down the street all asking for hugs. Not only that though, but apparently he has a bit of an ego problem. He isn't just rude to fans, but also interviewers and other celebrities and talk show hosts. Seth Meyers and Larry King both said that Jerry was very rude to them while on their shows. In our 9th spot today, we have Lindsay Lohan. Again, her last name is pronounced Lohan, okay? Everyone's been saying Lohan for years, but it was recently revealed that we're wrong. It's Lohan, not Lohan. Anyways, the downfall of Lindsay is actually a really sad one. Everyone loves Mean Girls and Freaky Friday, okay? She was in some iconic movies. Sadly, she went on to have problems with the law and substance abuse. In 2007, she was arrested and convicted twice. That same year, she went to rehab. From 2007 to 2012, she spent 250 days in different rehab centers. When she did get clean, she did star in a couple of shows, guest starring, but apparently she was very difficult to work with. She would arrive late and didn't want to film her parts. Sometimes she didn't even want to get out of her trailer. Starting off this countdown, we have Get On Your Feet. In 2014, during a show in Sydney, Kanye West ordered all the concert goers to stand up. He stopped his show to do this and singled out some people who weren't standing. He then told them to stand up. Little did he know that the person was not standing as they were using a wheelchair. It got really uncomfortable really fast and the crowd started booing. Imagine being singled out in front of an entire arena of people for not standing up. Meanwhile, you physically can't. Later, he said, "If you cannot prove to me that you are in a wheelchair, you need to be standing. If you can, it's okay, sit down."
And at number 9, Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle had one of the most successful comedy careers of all time, until he suddenly disappeared from his comedy show and wasn't seen in public for years after. In 2005, he was riding a wave of fame fueled by his hugely successful television show, but instead of continuing with Chappelle's show, Dave turned down $50 million and essentially went into hiding. It was later revealed that he went to South Africa, but he didn't talk about why. According to the LA Times, he'd cut off communication with friends, family, and professional contacts too. A few years later, he started doing comedy again and made some appearances at low-key comedy clubs. When talking with David Letterman in 2014, he said he was burnt out and needed a reset, and to spend more time with his family. Chappelle said, quote, "It's just you do what you feel like you need to do. There are other things in life that I do not purchase with money that are very valuable." And at number 8, Richard Simmons. In December of 2014, TMZ reported that Richard Simmons hadn't been seen by his friends in nearly a year. This is obviously very shocking, and led many to ask where he was, from being in danger or just going off the grid. All this led to the public demanding the LAPD do a welfare check at him on his home, which they did in 2015, and he was found in his house completely fine. But that didn't stop speculation. The National Enquirer even ran one story claiming he was transitioning into a woman. This prompted him to retaliate with a lawsuit. When the story got too big to ignore, Simmons told the Today Show, quote, "No one is holding me in my house as a hostage. I just sort of wanted to be a little bit of a loner for a little while." By March of 2017, it had been 3 years and he was still not seen out. The speculation surrounding him got so big, a podcast was even started to chronicle his disappearance. He is now back and even starting new projects.
In our 8th spot today, we have Amanda Bynes. Sadly, this is another amazingly talented actor that let drugs and alcohol get to them. In 2012 to 2013, Bynes was in multiple car accidents. She was charged with a DUI and was caught smoking. Over the years, she has been arrested for possession. She is currently under conservatorship, which means that her mother is her legal guardian. Now, she has changed a lot, okay? She goes on a number of rants on her social media, and she even drastically changed her appearance. Amanda is going through a rough patch and is sadly also suffering from mental health issues. I just wish her all the best because honestly, I loved her when I was a kid, and I'd love for her to get back into acting, but her health is the #1 priority right now. In our 9th spot today, we have the inappropriate flag. In November of 2013, Kanye West was spotted wearing a jacket with a Confederate flag on it. People immediately called him out, but Kanye being Kanye, he did not care. He said, and I quote, "React how you want. Any energy is good energy. You know the Confederate flag represented slavery in a way. That's my abstract take on what I know about it. So I made the song New Slaves. So I took the Confederate flag and made it my flag. It's my flag. Now what are you gonna do?" End quote. Now, a lot of people were not too thrilled about this, to say the least. In our 8th spot today, we have Justice. Believe it or not, but Kanye has a habit of interrupting people on award show stages. In November of 2006, during the MTV Europe Music Awards, Kanye went on stage after Justice won Best Video for We Are Your Friends. Kanye was a sore loser because he thought his video Touch the Sky should have won. Why? Because he said it cost $1 million and Pamela Anderson was in it. As he got on stage, he grabbed a mic and yelled, "Oh hell no! Oh hell no!" He then said, "If I don't win, the award show loses." He then goes on to say, "Nothing against you, man. I've never seen your video. Nothing against you, but hell no." In our 7th spot, we have Pants on the Ground. In 2012, while out with his then girlfriend Kim Kardashian, Kanye West had a pretty embarrassing wardrobe malfunction. The pair were spotted by the paparazzis getting out of a car when Kanye's pants slipped down low. But it left people wondering, why was Kanye's pants undone in the first place? Kim, what was going on in that car? Either way, he handled the malfunction pretty well, but the revealing photos are a little embarrassing.
In at number 7, Susan Boyle. Susan Boyle became an instant sensation after she competed on Britain's Got Talent in 2009. Before the show, she was a volunteer church worker with an amazing voice, but after she was a household name. In the middle of the show, she started to get bombarded by fans in public, with some even coming to her home and knocking at her door. It got so bad she was forced to move to an undisclosed location to wait out the end of the show, and so she could practice for her final performances in peace. Her brother John told People, quote, "She has had people banging on her door. It's been really terrible for her." Judge for the show Piers Morgan told BBC it was so bad at one point, Boyle was considering leaving the show altogether, saying, quote, "She is very distraught to the extent where she packed her bags and was going to leave the show." In the end, Boyle did not win the show, but it was the start of her massive solo career. In at number 6, Michael Jackson. At one point, the king of pop was the most famous person in the world, and his loyal fans and paparazzi were obsessed with him to the point they would stalk him in public and show up to his private home. Near the end of his life, one of his close friends exposed that Michael was so done with the fame, he wanted to go into hiding. That friend named Donny Osmond met Michael as child stars, and they connected on their similar upbringings. According to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Jackson called Osmond about 18 months before he died. Jackson told him that he had rented a motor home with his kids and he was hiding out from paparazzi in the desert. Jackson apparently said, quote, "I just want to hide. I want to get away from people." Osmond said that after that, Michael isolated himself from the world completely. Halfway number 5, J.D. Salinger. J.D. Salinger's classic book, The Catcher in the Rye, is one that I'm sure all of you have most likely read. I think I did either in high school or middle school. Since this book and the author are so famous, it's crazy to learn that he was a recluse most of his life. Even more shocking, the author passed away in 2010 at the age of 91 years old. In 2013, a book was released on the author's life, revealing just how reclusive and private that he was. It was suggested that he suffered from PTSD from his time serving in World War II. Allegedly, the author carried 6 chapters of his famous novel with him when he landed on the beach on D-Day. Shortly after fighting, he checked himself into an institution to help him cope with all he had experienced and seen during the war. Even more insane, after he left this institution, he signed up for more fighting, volunteering to defeat the Germans. One of the authors of this book claimed that the effects of the war made Salinger turn to a life of isolation. Apparently, Salinger's book was rejected by one publisher because they found him to be too unstable.
In our 7th spot today, we have Lea Michele. Oh man. Leah has literally been labeled as one of the biggest drama queens and divas in Hollywood. There's so much tea on her that like I don't have time to talk about it all. But we have done numerous other videos on her, so you can check that out. Anyways, a number of her Glee co-stars have said that it's a nightmare to work on set with her. Others claim that Leah would bully and belittle them on set and made life a living hell. Also, a number of cast members of color have come forward saying that they felt that Leah's hate towards them was racially motivated. And she's also been known to start unnecessary drama on set. Also, she once called background actors cockroaches and even burped directly in the face of a stand-in. So, how professional. In our 6th spot, we have The Mask. On Super Bowl day, Kanye West was trending after posting a series of tweets calling out ex-wife Kim Kardashian and her new lover, Pete Davidson. Kanye West was later spotted at the Super Bowl with his 2 kids, North and Sate. But you might not have recognized him if you saw him. That's because he was wearing a full-on black face mask covering his entire face. Soon, he became a meme. We still don't know why he decided to wear this mask. Maybe it was because he was trying to hide his face after everything that went down that day. Who knows? But it ended up just attracting more attention to him. In fact, it seems like he regretted wearing it in the end. Comedian Judd Apatow was sitting near Kanye at the game and posted on Instagram a photo of Kanye wearing that mask. He captioned it, and I quote, "I'm sitting near Kanye. He seems very hot and sweaty in that mask." I overheard him say, "Man, I wish I didn't go with the mask today, but now that I'm in it, I can't really bail on it." So not only did he become a meme, but he regretted it because he was sweating and he probably didn't get a good view of the show. And then around halftime, he did end up taking off the mask. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the paparazzi. It's no shocker that Kanye West doesn't like the paparazzi. I mean, what celebrity really does? But some people handle their encounters better than others. Kanye is not one of them. On multiple occasions, Kanye has been caught attacking and belittling the pops. In one incident in 2013, Kanye got very physical with a photographer at LAX that kept hounding him with questions. Kanye got upset with him and lunged at the camera, trying to take it out of his hands. He then put him into a headlock and got him on the ground. The photographer reportedly was sent to the hospital after this altercation. And this whole confrontation was captured by other paparazzi members.
In at number 4, Joe Strummer. Joe Strummer is the frontman for the band Clash, and years before his 2002 death, he became somewhat of a recluse. Back in 1982, the band started to struggle, so the band's manager Bernie Rhodes came up with an idea for Strummer to disappear from the public for a bit just to drum up publicity. The plan was for him to lay low in Texas, but before he was set to leave, he disappeared for real, telling nobody where he was going. For 3 weeks, not only did the public not know where he was, but his friends, family, and manager didn't know either. Weeks later, he was found living on the streets of Paris. While there, he ran the Paris Marathon and drank 10 pints of beer a night. Later, he revealed the whole thing was a mistake. This hardly helped with publicity for the band, and they broke up shortly after. And at number 3, Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie is an interesting figure, being well known in the world of mystery and crime. She's also a best-selling author and wrote the world's longest-running play, The Mousetrap. For some reason, in the middle of her very successful career, she disappeared without a trace. On one random night, she left her 7-year-old daughter and drove off. The car was found abandoned a few miles away, but there was no sign of Agatha. Thousands of people came to look for her in that area, and nothing was found. Many in the town started speculating on where she could be. Could she be in danger, or could this all be some sort of stunt? 11 days later, she was found at a spa, checked in under the name Teresa Neal, who was her husband's mistress at the time. She went back home with her husband and never spoke about it again.
Moving on to number 6, we have Mike Myers. Mike Myers has played a number of characters in iconic movies like Hello, Austin Powers, Shrek. Anyways, apparently he's a control freak and a perfectionist, which makes it hard for the cast and crew on set. Not only that, but according to his co-stars from Cat in the Hat, wow, throwback, he kept everyone waiting and even had someone feed him chocolates on set. Another time, while on Conan O'Brien, he had staff running around trying to complete his demands. He wanted silk non-dairy creamer, Twizzlers, and raspberry seltzers. When the interns didn't get him the right brands that he liked, he made them go back and try again. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with Justin Bieber. Now it seems like Bieber is in a better place, but for quite some time he was acting like a big brat, according to a number of celebrities. As Justin started to get older, he started getting into a number of fights. He got arrested multiple times and he was involved with a number of drug scandals. He also would show up late to concerts and events. In fact, John Bovey called him out, telling him to get his act together. He's also pissed off a number of celebrities, including Seth Rogen and Bill Hader, okay? How do you piss off those celebrities? They're so chill. Anyways, according to Bill Hader, when Justin hosted SNL, he showed up with a 20-person team to set. He said, and I quote, he had a guy holding a piece of pizza, a guy holding a Diet Coke, and going around stage you're trying to fight through all these people to get dressed. Doesn't sound like a pleasant experience. Moving on to number 4 today, we have Charlie Sheen. The 2.5 Men star has done some pretty wild and highly controversial things over the years that have completely ruined his reputation. Like when he pulled a knife out on his dentist while undergoing treatment. Also, he's had a number of drug scandals, and then you have the scandal between him and his ex-wife, Denise Richards. Apparently, he was violent and physical with her on a number of occasions. There's also a rumor that he slept with over 5,000 different women. In fact, he was fired from 2.5 Men because of his wild behavior. Since then, he hasn't really done much acting. Coming in at number 3 today, we have Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres was labeled as one of the most kind-hearted and generous celebrities out there. She constantly gave back to charity and helped people in need. But a couple of years ago, it was revealed that she might not be the nicest. I'm sure you all remember that huge scandal, when people were calling her and her team rude. It started with one of her former employees tweeting, and I quote, "Right now, we all need a little kindness, you know, like Ellen DeGeneres always talks about. She's also notoriously one of the meanest people alive. Respond to this with the most insane stories you've heard about Ellen being mean, and I'll match everyone with $2 to the LA Food Bank." Now this tweet had thousands of replies with unpleasant stories about Ellen. Even some celebrities piped up to share their stories. In the end, it kind of tarnished her reputation. In our 2nd spot today, we have Naomi Campbell. Model Naomi Campbell has been labeled as a very difficult model to work with. In fact, she even has had beef with Tyra Banks and Rihanna. Apparently, she's very unreliable. When she books a job, people never know if she's gonna show up. So why bother even booking her in the first place if she's not gonna do her work? And then in 2007, there was this whole scandal in which she allegedly hit her maid in the head with a cell phone, and she was charged with assault. Yikes. And in our number 1 spot today, we have Katherine Heigl. When people think of worst celebrities, Katherine is always up there on the list. Apparently, she's one of the most hated actors in Hollywood, and people refuse to cast her now. It all started with Grey's Anatomy. Apparently on set, she would complain about her wardrobe, and on some days, she would refuse to get out of her trailer to film. And apparently, she would question the script every single day on set. Then in 2008, she said that she didn't want her Emmy nomination for her role in Grey's Anatomy because she felt that the writing on the show was bad. Imagine that, being like, nah, I actually don't want to be nominated for an Emmy. You know, the show is actually bad, like it sucks. Why would you do that? Anyway, rumor has it that that's why she got kicked off the show. In our 4th spot today, we have "I'ma let you finish." This is the famous line that Kanye West said to Taylor Swift during the MTV Video Music Awards. Taylor won Best Female Video, and Kanye was not pleased. He hopped on stage and grabbed the microphone before saying that Beyonce deserved the award and not her. He said Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. Now, that moment was embarrassing for both him and Taylor. In fact, that was the start of a very lengthy feud between the two. In our 3rd spot, we have Apologize. I'm sure you all are aware of the tragedy that happened at the Travis Scott concert, and all the backlash that he received for not stopping the show as people were losing their lives. Well, later on, Billie Eilish was accused of throwing shade at Travis Scott during her recent performance. During her show, she noticed someone at her concert was having trouble breathing, so she stopped the show, waited until the fan got an inhaler, and was okay before continuing on with the show. In a video clip from the incident, Billie said, and I quote, "I wait for people to be okay before I keep going." That's when Kanye got defensive. he thought she was making a jab at Travis Scott. So Kanye took to Instagram to post a lengthy comment. He said, and I quote, "Come on, Billy, we love you. Please apologize to Trav and to the families of the people who lost their lives. No one intended this to happen. Trav didn't have any idea of what was happening when he was on stage and was very hurt by what happened. And yes, Trav will be with me at Coachella, but now I need Billy to apologize before I perform." So he literally was like, "I'm not gonna perform at Coachella with Billy unless she apologizes." Billy responded with, and I quote, "Literally never said a thing about Travis, was just helping a fan." In our second spot today, we have the bathroom break. In 2008, while guest starring on Conan O'Brien's show, Kanye West randomly revealed that he had to go pee. The two were deep in discussion when he randomly said, and I quote, "Sidebar, I have to use the bathroom really, really bad." I mean, if you gotta go, you gotta go, okay? You can't help it, no shame. But still, his timing was very bad. Conan actually handled it very well though. He said, "It's added a sense of urgency to what you're saying," which I think is valuable, nice one. And in our number one spot today, we have Skete. Skete is the nickname that Kanye West has given none other than Pete Davidson. Now, if you follow Kanye on Instagram, you know how wild his posts have been lately. Basically, everything he posts is about Pete Davidson. Now, you gotta stay following him because he will post something and then a couple days or hours later, he'll delete it, so you gotta be quick on that. Well, on Super Bowl Sunday, he posted a series of images calling out Pete, like posting a photo of him and Machine Gun Kelly in their Calvins and captioning it, "No, you'll never meet my kids." His second post revealed a text message he got from Pete. And Pete said he hopes one day he can meet his kids and that they can all be friends. So it seems like Pete is ready to be mature about this whole situation, but Kanye is definitely not.
And at number 2, Melania Trump. The president and the first lady are public figures, so they're expected to be out at public events to represent the country when asked. Many Americans were shocked when the first lady was out of public for a whopping 25 days, which is basically an eternity in politics. After speculation, the White House announced that she was recovering from a kidney procedure, but a lot of the public did not buy this. Some even speculated that she left the president and his administration was trying to hide it. Hashtag Where's Melania Trump even started trending on Twitter with claims that there were body doubles posing as Melania. Political analysts went on TV and explained the absence was unprecedented. She finally returned to her First Lady duties on June 4th of 2018. When asked for more details on her disappearance, her team denied this, quote, citing the privacy laws to which Ms. Trump, like any other patient, is entitled. And finally, at number 1, Rivers Cuomo. Rivers Cuomo, the frontman for Weezer, is also quite the recluse. True to his hipster ways, he likes living off the grid in nature where nobody can find him. In a 2005 Rolling Stone profile, Cuomo said it all started with a Tibetan Buddhist meditation retreat. He loved the alone time. After this, he tested just how long he could go in isolation. One time he even spent 20 days in a closet in northern Massachusetts. But obviously this level of isolation can be unhealthy, which he proved after he trapped himself in his LA apartment after a failed record. When the album Pinkerton did not live up to expectations, he, quote, put fiberglass insulation over the windows and hung black sheets over the insulation, and painted all the walls black, disconnected his phone and spent a lot of time with his pet gecko. Thankfully, he grew out of these ways and is now married with kids, but he's still openly searching for meaning in life other than just working and touring.